Racing takes place out at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth on Saturday, the 16th of March 2024. We've got a double header racing out at Turfentine as well, and what has become a norm in South Africa over the past few months, a double header on a Saturday. Top class racing action to look forward to, and racing out at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. Joining me is Graham Hawkins, and Graham, how are you doing?
All good, thank you, Rahil. 8-race program. There appear to be some really nice bets on the card, and let's hope everything falls into place.
Well, Graham has tipped us a bar pot and a pick six to look forward to, so he'll take us through those as we go through each race, and then at the end of the show he'll give us go through that selected suggested bet. Race number 1 on the program, it is the start of the bar pot, 1200 meters the distance, 12:45 is the off time. It is a maiden juvenile plate, and you've got Aristotle, your warm order favorite, at 8 to 10. He's found quite a bit of early support, 13 to 10 into 8 to 10, 28 to 10 about number 8, Miss Argonaut. It is number 6 at 5 to 1, and then it's 12 to 1 and better bar those. Now, this 2-year son of Rafif, Aristotle, he ran second behind One Stripe on debut, and One Stripe was ultra impressive when winning that day, and he subsequently come through to Frankie's own piece of form.
Yes, he has. He was comprehensively beaten by One Stripe Aristotle, but there was a little bit of talk about him before the race, and he was not really expected to get the better of One Stripe, and yes, One Stripe put him firmly in his place, but Aristotle is likely to have improved since his debut on the 6th of February. Nice to see Richard Fourie reuniting with his old boss Justin Snaith, with Grant van Niekerk serving out a 4-week suspension. So Fourie gets a chance aboard number 2 Aristotle. This is a very well endowed restricted maiden juvenile plate, 200,000 up for grabs. So I think that Justin has probably picked out this race specifically. There are a few others with form, but I'm not surprised the money's coming for number 2 Aristotle. He was priced up initially at 12 to 10, but he's shortening all the while. Bagatelle Flash was promising on debut, ran second over 1,000 meters behind Macazoli, and being by gold standard, I would have thought that the step up to 1,200 meters would suit the Eric Sands runner down to the ground. So number 6 Bagatelle Flash could be anything, and should be the one to keep number 2 Aristotle honest. Miss Argonaut ran well on debut when finishing strongly behind Dark Winter. I'm not quite sure how strong that form line is going to turn out to be. There've been no runners from that form line, but clearly one has to respect the chances of number 8, Miss Argonaut. Positive comments about number 1 Arctic Wizard on debut. Both stated, and in particular Mauritius Kestrel can improve on what they've shown to date. But I'm going with number 2 Aristotle as a confident first choice and a bipod banker in the opening leg.
All in with number 2 in race number 1 on the program, which is the start of the bar pot. Moving along to race number 2, which is the start of the place accumulator. 1,200 meters the distance, maiden plate, 20 past 1 is the off time. And in race number 2, Iguguletu, Cliff Swallow top the betting boards at 3 to 1. The US of A is at 9 to 2. It's Mac Dazzler at 5 to 1. Visas on Fire is at 6 to 1. It's then 8 to 1 and better bar those. Now, Cliff Swallow showed very good improvement last time out when running second behind Kops a Klop. So it looks to be a horse that could just be looking for 1,400 meters now. But Cliff Swallow, good run. And then you've got Iguguletu, who on that run to Sooties has got Cliff Swallow held. But obviously, number 3 has got more scope for improvement, you would think.
Yeah, when they met behind Suti, and Iguguletu was some 4 lengths ahead of him, that was obviously Iguguletu's 7th run, and it was the debut run for Cliff Swallow. And then Cliff Swallow showed a lot of improvement next time out when running down going down a neck to Kaapse Klopse. Again, I'm not sure that the Kaapse Klopse form line is that strong, but you can only improve, and I think Cliff Swallow is certainly the one to beat in this race. Healthy respect, obviously, for number 10, Iguguletu, who's well tried, having had 7 starts already in the maidens. There are a few others worth a mention, and I'm hedging my bets in this, the second leg of the bipod, because I've got bankers elsewhere. I think number 2, the Speed Racer form line also comes under the spotlight. Now, if you look at the Speed Racer form line, then Approach Shot, who's number 11 in race 2, was marginally in front of Whistles on Fire and the US of A. I don't think we can take that form literally. They've all three got a chance. So I'm including number 2, Whistles on Fire, number 7, the US of A, and number 11, Approach Shot, taking no chances, putting 5 horses into the second leg of the bipod. But my top 2 choices would clearly be number 3, Cliff Swallow, and number 10, Iguguletu. Number 1, McDazzler, is interesting. Not a bad debut in an open maiden when beaten 5 lengths by Simply Beautiful. We know Simply Beautiful was finally winning a maiden, I think, at the 20-odd attempt. So there have been 2 direct winners from that form line, though, from 14 runners. Maybe McDazzler will need one more, and maybe he'll need a touch further, but clearly McDazzler does have a chance of running into the money. So I'm going to go with Cliff Swallow to beat home number 10, Iguguletu. Would I be surprised if it was the other way around based on the form behind Suti? No, it wouldn't be. They do appear to be the top 2 choices. So if you want to cut down the second leg of the bipod and play more aggressively, then 3 and 10 would be the top choices, but I've gone a little wider.
That's 3 and 10 for Graham in race number 2. Moving along to race number 3, which will be the start of the pick 6. 1400 meters the trip, 13:55 is the off time, and it is an open maiden for fillies and mares. The favorite is horse number 10, Ice Rain, even money favorite here, has found quite a bit of support already. 15-10 into even money. 5-1 about Rockin' Peony, Jet Green, and then it's 6-1 and Better Ball those. Now, given that this is an open maiden, Ice Rain has got to concede weight all round, but last time out against the boys in that massive field on Met Day, far from disgrace when running 5th, beaten 2.5 lengths, and that form line is absolutely lethal, and you would expect so given the amount of runners in that form line and the horses that ran there. So Ice Rain in this type of contest, despite that deep draw, the one that they all need to set their sights on.
I think there's no doubt about that. Ice Rain stepped back to 1,200 meters in that very strong maiden over 1,200 meters on World Sports Betting Met Day. And Riverstone, of course, has come out to win again. She does, as you mentioned, have the worst of the draw, and she's got to give 8 kilograms away to a horse like number 6, Jet Green. Lunga Gila trying to get his first winner in the Western Cape, and Jet Green should give him a good run for his money. But number 10, Ice Rain, does set the standard, as you say, in a big way. She was at 16-10 at one stage, is now shortened into even money. So I'm happy to bank a number 10, Ice Rain, not only in the bipod, but also in the opening leg of the pick 6. From that draw and giving the weight away, you might need a bit of luck. You put me firmly in my place last week, Rahil, when I tried to beat Hoodia and didn't get away with it. But I'm going to be in the Andre Nel camp here and Cornet Office camp with number 10, Ice Rain. Richard Faree is an interesting booking for number 9, Rocking Peony, and for that reason alone does warrant some form of respect. Blind Faith can get into the money. And then, of course, number 2, 3 Coins. The last time out, she was placed in a work riders race and subsequently disqualified for a weight discrepancy. But she has the kind of form to suggest that from a good draw, she could get into the battle for minor money. But I'm going with number 10, Ice Rain, in a big way. Stepping back to 1,400 meters, her last 2 runs over track and trip, she's been runner-up behind Nile the Boss, runner-up behind Wagoog. They've been winners from all of her recent form lines, direct winners. I'm not surprised the money's coming, and whatever beats number 10, Ice Rain, will win.
Yeah, I fully agree with you there. Number 10, Ice Rain, the one that they all need to set their sights on, and a filly that looks like she could take some beating in race number 3. Moving along to race number 4, the start of Jackpot 1, 1,400 meters the trip. This is a Cape A Stakes, 14:35 is the off time. And having a look at the market, Cafe Culture tops the boards at 2-1, 33-10 about Weekend Go All Night, 4-1 We're Jamming, 5-1 about Tuafe. It is 7-1 and Better Ball those. Now this horse, Cafe Culture, he's certainly turned the corner because he just continues to win and churn out victories. He's a 5-time winner now. He beat Inamorare last time out, but the horse that ran 4th, Pomodoro's Jet, we were burnt on the day. He came out to win, I think it was last weekend if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, I thought he won a nice race, Pomodoro's Jet. So the form has been franked. Richard Faree aboard. He's gone up 5 points for that victory. Can he follow up, Graham?
Well, he's got to have a bright chance of following up. As you say, he won by an absolute nose and has been kind of punished by the handicappers to go up 5 points for that narrow victory. But he's a seriously good horse, you know. His form line speaks for itself. He's very good over 1,200 meters. He's very good over 1,400 meters. He's got a handy galloping weight of 54 in this class of company. He's drawn in gate 4, gets the services of Richard Faree, who's ridden him only once before. And that was when he was 7th over 1,200 meters behind Dance Variety, 3 runs back. So Richard Faree has had a feel for Cafe Culture. Lucinda Woodruff continues to turn out the stables. But I do think that this race is quite competitive. Number 1, Port Louis returns from the Eastern Cape. He's drawn in pole position. He's got very good form over the Kenilworth 1,400 meters, 4 starts for a win, a second and 2 fourths. So I don't think you can gloss over number 1, Port Louis. Number 5, Tout à Fait, very much at home over course and distance, carries the same weight as Cafe Culture. He's won 5 starts over the track and trip from 14 starts. And although his recent runs have been a little bit below par, one of these days, number 4, Tout à Fait, is going to strike. We're jamming. He just continues to disappoint. His victories have all come over 1,200 meters, but not a bad run behind Thunderstruck, of course, in the Diadem, and prior to that, not disgraced in the Cape Flying Championship. He does have 61.5 to shoulder. So I'm going to sit on the fence with number 7, We're Jamming, although I'm going very wide in this leg in both the pick 6 and the bipod, and including number 7, We're Jamming, just in case. But a bigger danger to Cafe Culture could be number 8, We Can Go All Night. We know that he's very talented on his day. Disappointing run last time out in the Progress Plate over 1,400 meters behind It's Raining William. A winner's come from there, but if you judge him on his previous start win, a short hair second to Prometeur, then he's got to come into this race with a bit of a chance. He's a bit of a moody character, but he can turn on the jets when given a chance, and Sean Veal, of course, has a very high strike rate for Eric Sands. And I do also want to give number 3, Look for Hounds, a mention. His recent form doesn't inspire too much confidence, but he's a big price, and he's the type of horse that can surprise and has done so before. So Cafe Culture, definitely the first choice ahead of number 8, We Can Go All Night, and number 1, Port Louis, but I'm including a few others as well.
Yeah, I think it's definitely the right race to be looking for a bit of a result here, because if you manage to beat Cafe Culture, We Can Go All Night, you certainly drop in a lot of tickets in those exotics, and the result could go your way. Moving along to race number 5 on the program, and race 5 will be the start of Jackpot 2, 1,400 meters the trip. This is a Class 5 country championship, where your favorite is number 2, Master of Paris, at 15 to 10. It is 33 to 10 about number 4, Like the Clappers. Radicchio is at 9 to 2. It's 5 to 1, Destined to Dance, and then it's 12 to 1 and Better Bar Those. Now, Master of Paris run up in his last 2 starts. Aldo de Meyer gets the ride once again, draw 2, as he has been in his last 3 starts. So hopefully the draw is not a reflection of where he's going to finish once again. But in terms of the bar part, if he happens to finish second, you'll be happy with that?
Absolutely. Look, it's a dangerous and can be very costly practice to nail your colours to the mast in any Class 5 handicap. But I'm doing just that with number 2, Master of Paris. He's been second to Cabernet Lisedi and second to Aspect in his last 2 starts, both over this course and distance. As you say, he's again cracked the number 2 draw. He's in very good form. And when you look at the balance of the field, there's not much to beat here. His stable companion, number 4, Like the Clappers, on best form, would have a chance of upsetting. Well, I say upsetting, he's the clear second choice in the market. And the Snaith team does have a strong hold here with numbers 2, Master of Paris, and number 4, Like the Clappers. But I do think that number 2, Master of Paris, is going to get it right at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth on Saturday. There's always the prospect in these low division handicaps for an upset. Radicchio, again, because of Richard Faree riding, is very much respected in the market. Not a bad penultimate start, went 4th to War Chariot down the lane at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth over 1,200 meters. He's only had no starts over this course in distance, but over the distance at another track, he's run second in his only start. So that is worth noting. But he's got the same weight as number 2, Master of Paris. Master of Paris is drawn 2, Radicchio is drawn 7. And for that reason, I think that Master of Paris, with the benefit of the draw and possibly getting the run of the race and being in really good form, I think I'm going to side with Master of Paris in a big way. Destined to Dance, for me, the 1,400 meters, very much on the sharp side, to the moon and back, could be the source of a major surprise. But like I said, it can be costly and challenging to nail your colours to the mast in a Class 5 handicap. but I'm going in a big way with number 2, Master of Paris.
Yeah, Master of Paris, certainly the right horse in race number 5. Moving along to race number 6. This is a middle stakes for fillies and mares. 1100 meters the trip, 15:45 is the off time. And the favorite here is Kailami Girl at 2-1. She's found support already from 3-1 into 2-1. Candy Town is back at 5-1. Winter Rainfall is at 5-1. It's Porketa Vas at 6-1, along with Japanese Rose. And then it's 7-1 and Better Bar those. Now this does look to be quite a competitive race for the fillies and mares over the 1100 meter trip. And Kailami Girl, she tops the boards, I would say, just based on reputation rather than anything else. She won her last start beating Pretty Precious, and she now has a second run after a layoff, 55.5 on the back. But this isn't a race that she'll have quite her own way, or do you believe that she could win quite well here?
I think she can win, but like you said, I think it's very competitive, and it's a real test for Kailami Girl. She showed very useful potential, as we know, as a 2-year-old, and then was injured off the track for a very long time. She returned from an 11-month absence to beat Pretty Precious by a length and a half. I think the margin of victory flattered the runner-up. Kailami Girl was always cruising on that occasion. And so this is the real test for number 10, Kailami Girl. And she does come up against some very talented sorts, including her stable companion, number 5, Winter Rainfall. At this stage, no jockey has yet been declared for number 5, Winter Rainfall. But the last one must be ignored. That was in the Gold Rush over 1,600 meters. Winter Rainfall clearly didn't get the trip, but judged on a previous form. And her reputation, number 5, Winter Rainfall, has got to be considered a big threat. But there are others, they're very talented. All of these are in pretty decent form. Number 3, Highly Confidential, ignore the last run. Pacific Green, she's very game. She's very consistent. She's had 4 runs over the track and trip for 2 wins and 2 fourths. Candy Town, for my money, would be better suited to 1,000 meters. I know this is only 100 meters further, but she likes to go quickly in the early stages, and they might be closing it down over the extra 100 meters. So it all adds up to a pretty competitive race, because you can't ignore the older filly, number 7, Pork de Vas. Goes well for Richard Free, as we saw last time out when beating Dame of Tricks. This is slightly more competitive for number 7, Pork de Vas, but she has won 5 races, and that clearly indicates she knows how to win. So it's quite a trappy race. I would make number 10, Kailami Girl, my top choice, ahead of her stable companion, number 5, Winter Rainfall, then number 7, Pork de Vas. But I'm going a little bit wider than that in both, because of the bankers that we've had, and I'm going a little bit wider than that in both the bipod and the pick 6 permutations.
Moving along to race number 7, and race 7 will be run over 1100 meters as well. This is the Cape Sea Stakes. 4:20 is the off time for the penultimate race on the program. And when having a look at the fixed odds betting market, Mighty Mac tops the boards along with Hammy's Hero, both at 5-2. It's 7-2 about On Board. Mr. Frosty is at 11-2. It's then 6-1 Casino Ace, and then it's 10-1 and Better Ball. Those Cape Sea Stakes average rating off is 65, so it's not particularly it's not a strong race. And this was Hammy's Hero. Well, he's been costly to follow, 503 days since his last win, but this is a real drop in class for him. And I see the blinkers are off, 61.5 kgs on the back. If good enough, he's clearly got the ability, and if he's put into the right position, he could well get his overdue 3rd victory here, Graham.
Well, to be quite honest, Raheel, if he can't beat this field, then he's definitely going to struggle to ever win his 3rd career race. So I've taken a bit of a liberty, as you will see later on in my suggested pick 6 perm, which is only a 288 Rand perm. 30 Rand will get you slightly more than 10%. And I've decided to bank at number 2, Hammy's Hero. Clearly the race looks a lot more tricky than that because of Hammy's Hero's continuously disappointing performances. He hasn't won for 503 days. We keep going for him because of the reputation he had when starting off his career. He's constantly failed to deliver, so why should we go with him again? I think for the reasons you've mentioned. He continues to plummet down the ratings. He's dropped another 4 points from his last run to a 73. I know this is a Cape Sea Stakes, not a true handicap as such, but he wouldn't have even been running in this class of company a couple of months ago. So he's not ever going to meet any weaker Clearly, Mighty Mac, Mr. Frosty, and On Board, and possibly also Casino Ace represent the dangers. And if you want to play it a little wider, this race does not form part of the bipod. They would have come to an end in race 6. But as I say, it is the penultimate leg on an 8-race card of the pick 6. So I'm going to take a liberty. I'm going to bank a number 2, Hammy's Hero. And if he can't win this, then he will definitely struggle to win his 3rd race and never again form part of my selections.
Yeah, I was just about to say, last chance here for number 2, Hammy's Hero, to get the job done. If not on Saturday, well, then he's definitely done in our books. And, well, at 5-2 in the market, let's see if he can reward his supporters. Race number 8, the final race on the day, 1,000 meters the distance. This is the Cape A Stakes to close off the day down in the Western Cape, and the off time is 16:55. Rio Carrari is at 7-2. It is 4-1 Jerusalem Rain, 4-1 Winter Cloud, 9-2 Dance Variety. It's then 5-1 and Better Ball. Those now, Rio Carrari, he's a horse that ran a nice race last time out in the Diadem, went 5th behind Thunderstruck, beaten just over a length. He's got a big weight to shoulder, and then you've got the filly Winter Cloud, who was all the rage last time out, and they backed her as if the result was known, and everyone thought she'd get the job done. I'm sure she was many punters' banker on the day, but she failed to deliver. She failed to deliver in terms of the place accumulators as well, so she was disappointing. But with just 52.5 kgs on the back, I know she does take on the boys, but she could be a real threat in this contest.
There's no doubt about it, Rahil. This is definitely the best race on the card, and probably a field race, because there are only 8 runners, and all barring Slim Yanni appear to have a big chance of winning the race. But let's go back to number 8, Winter Cloud. If you go and watch that race, she moved up a good thing approaching the final 200 meters, and then she faded away. But she was found to be lame after the race, so there were excuses. She's been off the track since that day on WSB Met Day, end of January, so she's been given a chance to freshen up, recover from that, get her back on all 4 legs, and with only 52.5 on her back, she's certainly got to have a bright chance. My one concern would be, is she these days a little bit better over 1,200 meters than perhaps a hard-run 1,000 meters? Well, only the race is going to show us that. She has, of course, won over 1,000 meters. She beat Distant Winter by 3.25 lengths. That was more than a year ago, when she was a 2-year-old. But she's got to be competitive in this lineup against the boys of just 52.5. But there are many with chances, and many stepping back to the minimum trip that might not be ideal. Dance Variety has his first ever run over 1,000 meters. He's had 17 starts, but never run over the minimum trip. He's got good, consistent form over 1,200 meters. But you never know. He's got a potent finishing burst, and he could get into the action. Mr. Cobbs is always a danger. Jerusalem Rain finally found winning form over Dance Variety in a 1,200 meter contest on the 6th of February. He 2 steps back to 1,000 meters, which is unusual distance for him, although he's only had 1 start over the trip. That was on the Highveld when he ran 2nd. And then Mufasa, on the other hand, is very much at home over 1,000 meters. He's quite quick, and he could be effective over this course and distance. He was a very good run on the 6th of January when beaten under length by Thunderstruck. Yes, he was getting weight from Thunderstruck, but nonetheless, it was a very good effort. So Mufasa certainly comes into the race with a chance. I think that yellow Porsche Road, off the same weight as Winter Cloud, 52.5, will also be one that will appreciate stepping back to track and trip. Look at his course and distance form. He's had 3 starts for 2 wins and a second. I think he's at his very best over 1,000 meters, which comment you can't necessarily apply to some of his competitors here. That leads us to come back to where you started out with Rio Carrari. Well, he just always keeps us interested, doesn't he? I mean, he never runs a bad race. He won around this time last year when beating Weird Jamming. I think he's looking for a bit of a cut in the ground. I think the track is probably running too fast for him, and there's no doubt these days that 1,000 meters is on the sharp side. Richard Faree reunites, in the absence of Grant Van Niekerk and Danny Muscat, reunites with Rio Carrari. He's won 3 times in the past on Rio Carrari, so Richard knows him well and might be able to extract the best from him, even though I think he would prefer 1,200 meters these days and a bit of rain around. So Rio Carrari, whatever happens on Saturday, is one to keep in mind when the rains start to come and they find nice races for him. There's no reason why the 7-year-old can't post another win or 2. So I think he sets a standard, though. So I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt to number 2, Rio Carrari. But for me, it's a very, very difficult race. Some of the horses are very much well suited to 1,000 meters. Others would prefer 1,200 meters. They all come into the race with good form. And for me, that adds up to a field race.
Yeah, it is a field of just 8 runners, so it's definitely not going to cost you a lot to include all 8 runners, and you could get a nice result in race number 8. We're going to move along to the suggested bet now, and Graham will take us through his suggested bets. First up, we'll start with a bar pot, and then Graham will take us through the pick 6. And the bar pot commences with the running of race number 1 at 12:45. So Graham, take it away.
Thank you, Rahil. Yes, not often that I tip a pick 6, but I fancy a few horses today and hoping to get away with a speculative cheap pick 6. But let's start off with the bipot. First leg, banker number 2, Aristotle. Second leg, all of numbers 2, 3, 7, 10 and 11. The top 2 choices, if you want to narrow that down, would be Cliff Swallow and Iguguletu, numbers 3 and 10. But I'm going wider than that, 2, 3, 7, 10 and 11. Then banker number 10, Ice Rain, in the third leg. Then going very wide in the fourth leg. Cafe Culture is the top choice, but including all of numbers 1, Port Louis, 3, Look for Hounds, 4, Cafe Culture, 5, Tout à Fait. Then also number 7, we're jamming a number 8, We Can Go All Night. Then banker number 2, Master of Paris, is going to be looking to get the job done in the penultimate leg after 2 good seconds over track and trip. And going wide in the 6th race, it's a competitive race. Kailami Girl is the top choice, but going with numbers 3, Highly Confidential, 5, Winter Rainfall, 6, Pacific Green, 7, Pork Devas and Kailami Girl. That bipot will cost you 150 Rand for a full unit. And then moving on to the pick 6, more of the same, in the sense that I'm bankering number 10, Ice Rain, in the opening leg of the pick 6, and going with numbers 1, 3, 4, 5, 7, and 8 in the second leg. Then banker number 2, Master of Paris, in the third leg. Numbers 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 10 in the fourth leg. Then banker number 2, Hami Zero, and that's a bit of a liberty and a bit of a speculative bet, but I'm hoping Hami Zero, dropping into this division, can get it done. And field, if we get away with Hami Zero, I want them all in the last.
Yeah, absolutely. You want the worst possible result, but the best possible result for the pick 6. Graham, thanks very much for your time. All the best. Have a wonderful weekend, and we'll chat soon.
Rahil, go well.
Thanks very much to Graham Hawkins. All the best with racing out at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth on Saturday.